Yeah, I know, it's been a while. They say good things come to those who wait. We have quite. We got some things to talk about. I know it's been a while. Maybe about 3 months. And let me tell you, ask and you shall receive. It just feels good to be back. So let's get some plugs and disclaimers out the way. Let's get this video.
Victoria's Secret Supermodel Adriana.
Yes. Like I said, let me just move my chair over. Welcome back, you guys. I'm just happy to be back. I know it's been a while. It's been, like I said, 2 months. It's been 2 months since my last upload. Last one was feels, and that was when I was in my feelings about relationships. So what better way to get back on that grind set than talk about relationships? And I got some more exciting news. So you guys know how how my videos work. Well, first I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about that. If you guys have been keeping up on my socials, you would know about the big news. I got a new girlfriend. Love her to death. Anyway, let's get into it. So, relationship rambles, reborn. I thought that was a clever name. I thought that was a clever name because I had no idea. But it's just within this past, I guess, 2 months, I have done a lot of self-discovery, and I have witnessed a lot of things. One of them being relationships and things that I've learned and things that I've witnessed from not only myself, but others. So, let's get down to it. All right. Now, where do we start? Well, relationships, something that it's just a lot of like nitpicking, I guess. So if you don't like nitpicking, I guess you should either go watch another video of mine or you could just bye. But let's get into it. So relationships, it's about no, sorry. It is about, especially, okay, so let's talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, all right? So we've all been in a relationship, right? I assume the majority of you guys who are watching my videos, yes, you beautiful viewers, we've all been in a relationship once, you know what I mean? And we've all had the good ones and we've all had the bad ones, relationships that have ended on mutual terms and relationships that just kind of ended poorly. Now, there's a couple things I want to talk about, a couple things that I've witnessed. So especially, let me just use one of my instances. I had a buddy of mine, love him to death. He allowed me, he gave me the okay to use his situationship, or situation, I guess, situation related. Anyway, he gave me the go ahead to use his situationship as an example. So, he was perfect. Listen, so a while back, about maybe 2-3 years ago, he got with this girl, and it was perfect. It seemed spotless at first, when you first get this girl or whoever, whatever you're into, whatever floats your boat. They call it the honeymoon phase. You know what I mean? Where everything just seems perfect. Everything seems lovey-dovey. All right. Excuse me, I need to wet my whistle. But they call it's the honeymoon phase, right? And then and then after that, you get the 3-month rule and things like that, all that fun jazz. But after the honeymoon phase, I guess, dissipated, I guess it slowly started to go downhill. And with me, I'm going to use me as an example, he claimed, and I believe him, I guess what led to the relationship's demise was the lack of communication. Because like we've discussed, especially not just on this series, but throughout the entire history of Talking That Nonsense, with just about anything and everything, communication is key. A lot of things in this world now, communication can be applied to. A lot of conflicts in this world that can be just resolved with communication. But nowadays, people lack that, unfortunately. So like I was saying, I digress, I apologize. There, what led to that relationship's demise is the lack of communication. And then us as humans, we also have the unfortunate ability to overthink, and it was a lot of overthinking. It was a lot of, oh, what if she's doing this? What if he's doing this? And it was a lot of simple, hey. It was a lot of A, communication, B, reassurance, and just C, being there. You know what I mean? Because for a lot of men, they're not hard to please, okay? We're simple creatures, all right? No offense, men. No offense, Michael. But, none taken. No, but for us men, we are easily just happy. We are happy. We're simple creatures. I said this multiple times. We are simple creatures, and any man can attest to this. So, at least with me, when it comes to being in a relationship, one of my paramount thing, one of the things that paramount is just be there for me, be there. And then some of you guys might be asking, what do you mean by be there? Be there, not just physically, but mentally, okay? I want to be with somebody that's there. And it's not even the fact that, oh, you have to have all your ducks in a row to date me, and you also have to have a credit score of 650 and blah, 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 or something like that, I'm not saying that, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, because I also have the idea that if you are not just mentally ready for a relationship, then you don't need to be in a relationship. Because if you are, you run the risk of not only screwing yourself up further, but screwing up the person that have let you into their lives, or vice versa. So I believe that being there mentally is just as important as being there physically. You know what I mean? And nowadays, that's where a lot of people aren't. Unfortunately, this generation, they are still stuck in that high school, middle school relationship mentality. And it sucks. So, I carry on. So, like I said, lack of communication led to the demise of that relationship. And then let's talk about the fallout afterwards. Okay, the explosion was nuclear, all right? Once the whole breakup happened, and let me tell you this, when he explained it to me, the breakup, that was some low-hanging fruit that chick decided to pick, bro. That was tragic, all right? Let's just say she ended up getting...
Hi.
Sorry, that's my phone. It's actually Balloon Boy from Five Nights at Freddy's. Freddy Fazbear? Sorry. Freddy Fazbear? No, but let's just say she ended up getting with the guy she told him previously not to worry about. And let's just say that's a low blow. No, that's not even a low blow, because he told me he wasn't even hurt by it. You know what I mean? He said he wasn't even hurt by that factor. He wasn't even really distraught because he saw it coming. Do you know why? Because he's a master overthinker. Do you know why? Because the lack of communication within that relationship that let the mind wander. Humans fear what they do not understand, all right? And I'm the type to where if you have these ideas that, oh, well, she or he might be cheating on me, what better way to squash those things than talk about it? Also not put yourself... So imagine this. Get into my mind. Matter of fact, stay out of there. Imagine this. You're in a relationship with somebody, right? And you guys are as thick as tungsten. All right? You guys are as thick as tungsten. Guys make it past the honeymoon phase, and it continues to be a perpetual honeymoon phase. Of course, you guys got your road bumps and everything like that. But ultimately, you still are on the right track. So you start to develop this feeling, this gut feeling. And it's not jealousy, because you're a man of respect, and you will not let pride be the death of you, all right? And jealousy is a normal human emotion, okay? It's where if it persists and you begin to turn that jealousy into anger, then it becomes a problem. But jealousy is a normal human emotion, at least to me, because anyway. So imagine this, you get this gut feeling, okay? So it's like, it's past the idea of a hunch, all right? It's beyond reasonable suspicion, okay? Greater than a hunch, right? So You have this gut feeling that something is going on. All right. So you bring it up to that person, you bring it up to your significant other, you bring it up to your partner, right? And you go, hey, I have these suspicions, confirm or deny. Then it starts an argument. At the end of the argument, the question doesn't end up getting answered. So that question is still flapping inside the wind. So now you have that, and now you also have an argument that transpired, right? That's also a can of worms that was just opened on top of this. So everything slowly starts to compound after a while. So we have, not just because, at least, if somebody's going to come to me, for example, if anybody was ever to come to me about cheating allegations about my partner, all right, I want more than just well, he said it, this one person said it, then it must be true. No. I play devil's advocate, okay? I need multiple sources. I need times, I need places, I need multiple people. And after I get it from multiple people, if these actually align and actually paint a picture, put together the puzzle pieces to make a picture, the puzzle, you know what I mean? Then I can actually start moving on to phase 2. Confronting, okay? Phase 3 is dictating exactly what the fate of that relationship is going to be, right? Right. So you had the allegations, right? You had the allegations of possible hanky-panky activity, all right, between whoever, right? On top of that, you had that argument. Now, the third piece that on top of the third pile, instead of addressing these concerns, disappears, goes off, pixie dust. You go off and you go hang out with those very people, not just very people, but you go off and disappear and let the mind wander. You don't put those pains, those concerns at ease. A little bit of reassurance would have been fine. A little bit of reassurance would have been great. But no. So, you got those two things. And now you have your imagination. Your imagination's now running wild. All right, dancing, walking, rearranging furniture. Babs is shopping. I let the bird out of the cage. You let the damn bird out of the cage. All right. So now the bird's flying around. You didn't cage. You didn't close the damn door. Now the bird is out. All it took was this and this and it, and the bird cage would have still been closed, and it wasn't. So, as this slowly goes on, and let me, as this goes on, as your partner disappears into pixie dust and just doesn't address the problem, it almost seems like that also shows how much they care about that allegation. Because, like I said, if I ever got presented with cheating allegations, if I ever got accused of cheating, you bet your sweet bippy I would be right next to my partner's side all day, all night, trying to get to the bottom of it, drilling in some reassurance. Because I don't know about you, if someone said, hey, your girlfriend's cheating, don't you think you might want to be with your girlfriend? You know what I mean? I mean, you don't have to be in your girlfriend's butt cheeks the entire time, but don't you think you would want to be with your girlfriend a little bit more, just to ease that brain bleed that's going on, that coronary that's going on, you know what I mean? So instead of being there to ease that brain bleed, to put pressure on that femoral that femoral or carotid or jugular vein or artery, you're sitting there bleeding out. So let the mind wander, all right? And then you start overthinking, and you start developing these scenarios that don't exist. And you're only human. Like I said, humans fear what they don't understand. All right. So it's one of those things where, because of the lack of communication, this blank period, there was A, B, C. No, there was A, blank, C. So I had to leave, or they had to leave. No, I'm using you as an example. See, I'm starting to get myself. You had A, B, C, right? No, because B is missing. So you just had A and C. So with the information that you have about the cheating allegations on top of the fight, and now your partner disappearing into pixie dust, you left your mind to fill in the blanks. You left your mind to make a B. Rather it whether it makes sense or not, that's the scary part. You know what I mean? That's the scary part. So, that happens. The cheating allegations continue. The cheating allegations continue. Right? So what do? You call a council meeting. You call a meeting. Let's determine the fate of our relationship. You are going to sit there and determine the fate. We, together, are going to determine the fate of this relationship. Where do you see this going in the next... Where do you see this going in the next week? Where do you see us in the next week? Where do you see us, specifically in the next 5 days? You know what I mean? So, in that sense, you want to get all your ducks in a row, right? You want to sit there and you want to understand exactly what's going on. You finally get your partner down to sit down, you know what I mean? You start rallying the troops. You start getting outside opinions, not just on the relationship, just in general, okay? So listen, this is something I'm getting used to, you know what I mean? Not vocalizing my relationship to others, all right? So listen, and bear with me. I don't want you to sit there and go, oh, well, you're a dirtbag, you're a dirtball. Now, listen, you've been in an argument with your significant other before. I know you have, right? So when that happens, who do you talk to? Because you guys are spending time apart. Let me paint a picture for you. You're with the person that you love so much. You're with the person that you have laid in bed with. You're the person that you've told, I love you more than any person on this planet. As you should, being in a relationship, right? So that person is your everything. What happens when you temporarily disconnect from your everything? Especially when you're in one of those relationships where that person that you're with is just about the only person you talk to. So, what happens when you can't talk to the one person when you're upset is also upset at you? You go talk to somebody else. You go talk to your friends. Not just random people. You don't go on social media talking about, he said this dirty little beep, 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 beep. No. You go to your friends. You go to your family members. All right? God forbid you go to their family members to get their outside opinion on the matter. But ultimately, it is you guys' say on what happens to the relationship. All right? So, you do that. Get outside opinions on the matter. Long story short, you guys make it past. But unfortunately, the relationship has been fractured. And this is not some kind of cheap, easy fracture that can heal within a couple of weeks. Nope. This thing is forever fractured. Now, with this fracture comes infection. With this fracture, you run the risk of having poison seeping in. It's not a complete snap. It's not a complete break, but it is a fracture. So what I mean by poison is, since the relationship is under pressure, it has fractured, which means if just arguments that would happen and then would just dissipate, you know what I mean? But now, since the relationship is fractured, those arguments, that poison can seep in and further put strain on that relationship, right? So, which could lead to a permanent break. I'm a firm believer in, when you're in a relationship, there are such things as just, without being said, boundaries, unwritten rules, you know what I mean? One of them being, and let me elaborate on it afterwards, don't put yourself in awkward positions. Don't put yourself in awkward situations that can really, really, really look bad from outside eyes. And I get it, all right? I get it. He's a friend, she's a friend. But at the end of the day, you gotta look at it through your significant other's point of view. I see my boyfriend, the love of my life, hanging out with some girl. You know what I mean? And it's not just some girl. And I am also a firm believer in, unless you have genuine suspicions about that person, you don't have the right to make a full commotion out of it. If it's just, oh, you're hanging out with a girl, that's, you know what I mean? There's stigma on both sides. The stigma between Okay, sorry about that. I had a cotton candy delivery. Not even joking. I kind of forget my train of thought. I'm sorry, we were talking for a minute. Between your girlfriend hanging out with guys and your boyfriend hanging out with girls, all right? So, like I said, firm believer in not putting yourself in awkward positions, not putting yourself in awkward situations. And I believe that, at least me, God forbid, I have an opinion, but I believe guys and girls can be friends. It's feasible. It's possible, all right? Guys and girls can be friends while in a relationship, okay? So if I have a girlfriend, which I do, my girlfriend doesn't have a problem with me talking with girls. You know what I mean? Funny enough, my girlfriend doesn't have a problem with me at all talking with girls. You know what I mean? Because that's also because, why? You know what I mean? Because she understands at the end of the day who she's sleeping in the bed with. At the end of the day, who she's doing whatever with. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? So it's the same thing with me. You know what I mean? And it's the same, it's vice versa. So, and it's also just my kind of personality. I'm social. People talk to me. I don't just go up and talk to people. Sometimes people also come and approach me. People text me. She understands. She knows that I love her. I have done plenty to prove to her that I only want her and just her. So we have already established that. We've also already established boundaries. So when I get into a relationship, I always have a deep, even before it's official, sit that person down and we talk about our likes and our don't likes. And I'm talking about every which way that we go deep. We go a deep dive. I'm talking about under the nail bed, okay? So that's one of many deep and meaningful conversations I would have with my significant other. And then once we become official, as time goes on, I continue. Because at the end of the day, I want to know as much as possible my significant other. Not just, I know her birthday and I know her favorite color. You know what I mean? I want to know. So I know when whatever comes or whatever situation arises, I already know, hey, this isn't cool. You know what I mean? So I don't have to go, hey, was this okay? You know what I mean? I should know. So there is no room for miscommunication. There is no minor discrepancy. It's one of those things where this is it all the time. So, man, I kind of lost my train of thought on the last one. I'm sorry. But let's bounce on to another one. Pardon me. Hey, this is your daily reminder to drink. This is a little cheeky, I think 16-ounce water bottle. Yep, 16 fluid-ounce water bottle. Make sure you drink just about, at least, minimum, 3 of these a day, all right? Just because the colder weather does not alleviate the fact that you can get dehydrated. I'm serious. This is Michael, your hydro homie, telling you to stay hydrated. Anyway, so, yeah. I'm, like I said, just firm believer and not putting yourself in awkward situations to where these not just allegations, but these chances for overthinking or miscommunication can arise. It's as simple as that. As simple as that. So, next, back to my friend's story. Excuse me. I'm just getting over the sniffles too. So, I remember chugging half a bottle of Mucinex, full strength or whatever. I think I might. That sounds good. I got some NyQuil too. Anyway, man, it's a long. I'm losing my mind. Sorry, it's a long story. All right, and I'm already halfway through it, but we're almost done, and we're about like 23 minutes in already, and we're making some good headway. Okay, we're making some good headway. So, as I was saying. Now we talk about the fallout. Let me tell you, the fallout was great. So here's a funny part. He was what you would call a diplomat, okay? He had it all. He had the charm, he had the communication skills. Whenever an issue would arise, he would lay it all out. He would get all his ducks in a row, all right? So when it became a he said, she said conversation, because that's where it was, you know what I mean? It was a lot of gotcha moments. It was a lot of him defending himself from whatever bull crap that might arise, you know what I mean? Just out of the blue, out of thin air. You breathed on this one. No, like, it's stupid, trust me. This chick was something, all right? Like, I've met the chick and, yeah. I'm not gonna sit there and rag on her, but no bully. But she had some screws loose, all right. And it's not. I'm not just saying that to be mean, but like, she needs, before she's to get into another relationship, she needs to get all her ducks in a row. Because remember when I said that if you don't put all your ducks in a row before getting in a relationship, not only do you run the chance of ruining yourself even more, but you run the chance of corrupting that person that you're also getting in a relationship with. So let's talk about the fallout. So like I said, he was a bit of a diplomat. He had the communication skills of a saint, all right? So we all know when it turns into a he said, she said conversation, or just any conversation in general, you know what I mean? That person runs to that side, and that person runs to this side, gets outside opinions, and then then if you want, both parties want validation from whatever, and hopefully, because when an argument happens, there has to be a winner, you know what I mean? That's just how it is, unfortunately. Somebody has to take the blame at the end of it. It just in relationships in general. I mean, it's not rare, but most of the time when an argument happens within a relationship, unless it was truly, clearly clear, set like really clear that hey, it was both of us that fubbernucked it up. Somebody has to take the blame. Someone's gonna end up saying sorry. Even if you didn't do it, somebody's gonna end up saying sorry. So he has it all. He was a model citizen. He had the communication skills of a saint. He had all his ducks in a row. All right, and he's beloved by all. Okay, so given his reputation, imagine that his partner, his ex, tried to tarnish that reputation, throwing out these wild accusations that, well, he did this, he said this, he said this. You go over there, she tells, he said, all right, and then he goes, this is what I did, and then he constructs a proper, makes it look all prim and proper, because the way he described it, he didn't leave out any parts. Of course, he took, you give credit where credit is due. He'll admit it where he needs to admit it, right? And he structured himself great. It wasn't just a lot of word vomit, all right? It wasn't some weird-ass word salad. He made it nice and neat. Syntax, impeccable, right? Now his ex was blah, 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 blah. Well, it was not constructed. It was built, but it was not structurally sound. All right, it was rickety. All right, like OSHA would have shut down real quick. So with that in mind, every single time, just like at the end of a wrestling match, the ref has to raise somebody's hand, and 10 times out of 10, because like I said, the ref ended up raising his hand, not only because his side made more sense, but the allegations that she was spewing towards whoever just didn't match up with what that person is, with that person's reputation. You know what I mean? So I get it. I 100% get it. Excuse me, I'm burping up a storm. So now let's start getting a little bit into it a little bit more. Let's get to the conclusion of this tale. So and after all that, subsequently they ended up breaking up. The fracture was, like I said, that poison got in that fracture. It developed into a break, and now, he's now in a better relationship. He's now in a lot better relationship right now. He is happy. I've never seen this kid so happy in my freaking life. He's smiling. I met his girlfriend. His girlfriend's sweet too. Sweetest person in the world. And I'm happy for him. And it was, and like I told him, I said, that's a big upgrade, all right? You're finally at the level you're supposed to. Because before, you were up here, because this guy was good. This guy was great, okay? This guy was up here, okay? This is where he was, all right? When he got with this chick, and I'm not judging, hey, man, the universe has strange ways of bringing people together. But he was up here. This chick was down here, right? The chick was down here. And he tried, and it's not like he tried to get her up here with him, but she was just too comfortable with being miserable. So, unfortunately, he ended up dumbing himself down to here. And he destroyed himself in the process. But thankfully, the girl he's with now treats him better, and I can confidently say he's back up here where he belongs. All right, he's back up there where he belongs. So after all that happens, I could really get into all the dilly down, the little little bits. But long story short, it's not really short. She ends up getting with the guy she told him not to worry about your best friend. And now oh, so may I add, this guy, he was like I said, loved by the family, her family. He was loved by her family. He made it a goal to meet everybody on her family. Everybody from the family loved him amazingly, right? Loved him to death. So he, like I said, they break up. She ends up getting with the guy she told him not to worry about. And now they're together. No bully. No bully. It is it's a downgrade. It's quite the downgrade. Amen. 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 Credit to amen. Respectfully a downgrade. All right. So she is now in this limbo game. All right. She claims, at least this is what I'm getting from him, and this is what he's getting from all his friends that still associate with her for some unknown reason, but goes on about how great he is, and how happy she is, and all this and that, right? But she expects her family to like this guy as much as he liked my boy. You know what I mean? Like I said, my boy and her family and his ex's family were tight. So now this new guy comes into town that is also equally as miserable as her. And mind you, this guy just wanted her to be up here. Wanted to make her a better person, you know what I mean? Because we're all not perfect. He wanted to make her a better person, right? So now she's down here and her new man is down here. So now they're equally down there. And the difference is between him and this new guy isn't pushing her to want to be up here. And not just have to be up here, but just slightly above. You know what I mean? Slightly ahead. So they're both feeding off of each other. So they're just going to be down here miserable forever. All right? They're going to be down here forever. They're going to be miserable as heck. We all placed our bets. And like I said, no bully. We give it about a couple months. Now, she is, from what I understand, she is trying her damnedest to try to get her family to like this guy. And I could be wrong. Like I said, I've seen the guy, haven't met the guy, but it's gonna be quite the thing, especially since it's not a person that's actually doing something to make her better. So it's quite the sore. So what I'm understanding, she's getting in these conflicts with her family, talking about, oh, why don't you like him? He has so much in common with you. Well, I haven't even talked to the kid yet. Well, he has so much in common with you. I haven't talked to the kid. He's come over maybe 2 times or something like that. So how am I supposed to develop a connection with this kid? You know what I mean? I've met him twice. I've met him before, but he's hung out at my house twice. You know what I mean? So how the heck am I supposed to, well, you're out here making it seem like you guys don't like him as much as you like X, Y, and Z. It's like, it's almost like you guys want me to get back with X, Y, and Z than be with my current boyfriend. But he makes me happy. It's like you guys like him more than me. It's like I'm better off getting back with X, Y, and Z. Family's like, yeah, you were better off with him. But unfortunately, you burned that ship has sailed, and you blow it up. It's gone. It's gone, sis. It's gone. There is no what if. All right, that ship is sailed and it is burnt. It is at the bottom of the ocean. It's gone. So there is no what if. There is no maybe in the future. Nope. You done screwed that up 6 ways to Sunday, sis. So now, it's quite the treat. It is quite This pure cinema. And you just watch it continue to de-evolve. All right. Tried to make it a nose measuring competition, talking about how, oh, well, look at my girlfriend and look at my boyfriend and look how happy it makes me. And Chief is over there just chilling, like, yeah, this is my girlfriend. She makes me happy, and yeah. Oh, well, she looks exactly well. He was telling me that she was going around telling her whoever that he look at him, he can't live without me. I never read for inside his head. Yeah, that girl looks exactly like me. He can't live without me. Now he has to get someone that looks just like me. Newsflash. I've seen his girlfriend, and his girlfriend looks nothing like you. At all. Not even to the slightest degree. Yikes. But, hey, pop off, queen. You do you. So we had a good belly laugh at it, and I just, that was the saga. Like I said, I'm happier for him. He looks a lot happier. He is a lot happier because it's a relationship where she is actually pushing him equally as hard as he's pushing her to want to do better. Because, like, just like everybody else, nobody's perfect, but they are actually applying themselves, you know what I mean, together to form something beautiful. They planted the seed of their relationship, and it has not yet blossomed. It's still growing, but it hasn't blossomed yet. That's the beauty of it. It's a nice, healthy plant, and it's going to blossom soon. Still early in their relationship. Like, listen, this chick had much more to offer. Got a job, you know? Not just a job. Has a car, has this, has that, has resources. And you're like, oh, well, I didn't get with them. I didn't get with her because of the money. Realistically, us as humans, we do. We get with people not only because, well, we love them, but because what they can provide and offer, okay? Not if you're getting with somebody solely based off of what they can offer, what they can provide, and with no love backed behind it, okay, then yeah, sure, throw you to the curb. That's disgusting. But if you're there for the love and also what they can offer, then yes. If it's someone, and we have those rare occasions where you're with somebody that's dirt broke and doesn't have a job and doesn't have whatever, and you see them getting back on their feet and trying, okay? That's something different. But if you see someone flat in the dust, in the dirt, not applying themselves to anything whatsoever, working, let's say, for example, 3 days maximum a week, has no car, has no license, and is just miserable, and rather just go out hanging out with friends all day instead of applying themselves, going to college or pursuing higher education, then yeah. It was much more than cable, all right? He's like, I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all. And the more I step back from it, the more I realize how much I have tortured myself. Because when the problems would arise, he said, I felt like I was the problem. I felt like I was doing something wrong. And I found myself apologizing more than anything. And I was like, man, they say love is a game you can't win. Oh, yes, sir. They say love is a game you can't win. But this guy, this boss, all right, this king, just proved them all wrong. Not only proved everybody else wrong, but proved his ex wrong. That he doesn't need her whatsoever. That he's doing a whole lot better. He's a whole lot happier. He's in a whole lot better mind space. That's good. That's good. He's quite a guy. Anyway, I think I got all of it out. That was just quite the story I wanted to say. And it's also just, like, what was the point of it? It's to put a lot of things in perspective, okay? Put a lot of things in perspective and look at it from, just with that story, with the few things I said. I'm going to try to start uploading a little bit more with the time we have left. I'm going to also talk about what happened. So, with all that out the way, we're going to move on to something else. Me. You guys know way back when I was in the police academy, I graduated. I passed my state exam. I've been putting applications in my local police departments. And so far, I had a panel interview with one of them after filling out my application, and I filled out an application questionnaire. And now we're looking good in the neighborhood. We are looking pretty good. I'll keep you guys updated. Also, be mindful that when I do get hired to a department, I want to know what the department policy is on social media. I'm not going to say, like, I'm going to start recording videos while I'm at work. I don't believe in that. Unless authorized. But if me uploading in general or doing anything with media content in general is a problem, then I might have to cease operations for a while until I get it sorted out. God forbid I delete my. I'm not like if it comes to or if it like comes to oh well you have to. I'm not deleting my YouTube channel. I'm not deleting any of my media because here's one of the things I can comfortably say about myself. I never say anything to the point where it is dangerous to anyone. I keep it for the most part strictly comedy. It's either about myself or the news or something silly or Reddit readings. I don't go out attacking people on the internet. I don't go out spreading hate. I don't go out spreading misinformation. So me, media and law enforcement is feasible, but me and media as a whole will stay. Anywho, man, I'm just so happy to be back. I know this is going to be a butt munch to edit, but it's worth it. I just had to get this out of my system. Like I said, he gave me the okay. I was going to have a docket out. I think the next video I upload is definitely going to be docket based. So we're going to be excited about that. TikTok isn't getting banned yet. Not for like another 98 days or something like that. It was supposed to be banned in April, and it isn't getting banned in April. I think it's getting banned at some point next month or something like that because Donald Trump extended it. So, well, I'm just so happy to be back, y'all. Check out my Instagram, check out my Facebook. I don't know if I want to start posting that yet because that's a little too personal. Maybe I'll start posting my Facebook more. I post a lot on my Facebook, by the way. If you want it, just ask it, and I'll give it to you. But anyway, looks like my time here has expired. I want you to go out and go do something that you enjoy. All right. I want you to go out. The weather's starting to get a little bit better. Go on a walk. Go bike riding. Mow your lawn. I mowed my lawn this past week, so mow your lawn. Do some yard work. Do something that you enjoy. Play with your girlfriend. Do whatever you flippin' frackin' want. Because at the end of the day, nobody's more important than you. Then again, my name is Michael. This has been Talking That Nonsense. Same thing that I've been preaching for about how many years? How many years? Give me a second. Same thing I've been preaching for... Give it a second. It has to load, right? You like my new monitor? There's a giant crack in the top. Nice monitor. $50 monitor. $50 monitor. Same thing I've been preaching for about... Damn. Also, this is the 20th episode, by the way. So this is the last thing of season 3. I forgot to mention that, I guess. This is the last episode of season 4, I guess. Would it be season 4? I think it would be season 4. I guess this would classify as season 4. Yeah, this would be season 4. Same thing I've been preaching for about 2 years now. Be good people. Goodbye, everyone.